Recording is in progress, and we are looking at the F Sports Logic on Twitter, my page. Excited about a QR code. You know, life is kind of boring when all of a sudden you get excited about a QR code, but it is exciting. It leads people to the $1 7-day test drive of the Contrarian Edge Optimizer, which you will see examples of here in this daily deeper dive podcast. Brandon Abbey and Daryl Snyder live from Southern California. We're also excited we have sunshine for the first time in many, many moons. It probably sounds strange because California is supposed to be sunshine soaked, but we've been soaked with rain, hurricanes, tropical storms, tornadoes, and earthquakes. So we're ready for some sunshine. I might celebrate and go down by the pool today and see if my pale looking skin can get some vitamin D in between everything we have happening. But this is something we do every day, but we're a little saddened. Brandon and I might be replaced by professionals here very soon. So I know it. You know, if you want to protest against that as a viewer, send us messages saying, please don't get rid of Brandon and Daryl, bring them back sometime. But we have a team of professionals that are a part of Sportstopia. If you haven't been to the Twitter page, it's brand new. It already has almost a third of the followers that I have, so it looks to be pretty popular. 19 followers. It's at Sportstopia HQ for headquarters, headed up by Ed Williams, formerly of NBC Sports and Roto World, and he is assembling a team of professional all-stars. So much so that Brandon and I are looking like we're going to be benched. But hey, you know, when there's injuries, players come off the bench and they shine. So we got to keep we got to keep in shape, right?
We'll keep our games ready to go.
People are watching going, my God, I'm glad that's happening. But no, we know you love us. There's Ed. He's excited. Sportstopia. We believe it's going to be your go-to destination for daily articles and videos pertinent to fantasy sports, the Contrarian Edge Optimizer, and those where it's legal, sports wagering. So excited about that. The shows will actually begin later this week. So let's get into our show, Daily Deeper Dive Podcast, with our partner, Ballpark Pal, who provides us a couple of things. Provides us with some pretty cool charts. He simulates 3,000 different outcomes of an MLB game on the daily slates, and also he's one of the seven MLB player projection partners in the Contrarian Edge Optimizer. So nice slate today. The Giants, they were walloped by the Phillies yesterday. But today, hold on, Bailey wants out. Here you go. Go on.
Bailey runs the house there in La Jolla, in case anybody's wondering.
Yeah, Bailey, that's probably one of the reasons we're getting taken out for the professionals. They don't interrupt it for their dog wanting to go outside, I don't think, but we'll see. This is all real. But anyways, the Giants will wallop, but today, Kyle Harrison, the number one prospect in their pipeline, 22-year-old left-handed, I'm going to call him a phenom already. 35% strikeout rate in the minors, is making his debut, and he is so new. There's no stats on him, so they don't know how to coordinate him. We'll see if anything in the optimizer. Ballpark Pal didn't have anything, but we have a daily home run report, a fantasy report, starting pitcher preview, a nice little indicator with different symbols of the weather for the daily stadium report. Okay, that was good. We need to cover anything else, Brandon? Oh, should we get more in depth on those charts?
Yeah, maybe a couple.
Why don't you begin with seeing some familiar names on the home run report?
Well, you know, I did run the optimizer a few times this morning, and Judge appeared in quite a few of my lineups, so I'm very pleased to see where we are there. Oh, and there's Manny Machado. He's another one of my favorites. And
Even
Corey,
against Luzardo,
yeah,
that's usually your guy.
I know, but I do I do like I do like Manny. Plus, I have a meeting with somebody named Manny later this afternoon.
Looks like Hassan Kim, another Padre, the leadoff hitters popping there too in the solid matchups.
Yeah,
And Garrett Cooper, look at that, a stack against Luzardo. That's probably contrarian.
I would think so. You know, it's easier for you, or it would be easier for me if those helmets were or hats were a little bigger, because I'm not up on everybody and who they play for. Another reason to bring in the professionals.
Who cares about the little details, right? If we name the player in the wrong team, they'll figure it out. I do know Austin Riley is a Brave, and he's projected to 24.3% to hit a home run against Tyler McGill of the Mets today. Little 9% matchup boost, 10% in the park. Matt Wallner, I don't believe we've ever seen that name on the charts. I know that he is a selection that the optimizer has been picking out lately, but he's facing Wade Miley, and there's a 23% chance. One of those dreaded Dodgers, Max Muncy, 23%. Look at the boost against Thor. Noah, I'm fading in my career as a flamethrower. Syndergaard kind of had a couple of outings that were a little better, but Muncy's looking like he could smash him today, and then the home run monster from the Mets, Alonso, with a 23%. They like the matchup against Elder, 20% there. So good stuff. You can use this for your DFS decisions, as well as people are using this for player props on sites like Drafters, one of our partners. Here's a DFS report. Aaron does a nice job. 3 of the top per position, 9 for pitchers and 9 for outfielders. And go to ballparkpal.com. You'll see a lot more in-depth on almost all the players. We just highlight the top 3 and the top 9. Before I let Brandon's eyes wander over to the pitchers where he already is, I'm going to point out a few of the position players. Olson from the Braves, leading the league in home runs and RBI, having a monster year on that monster team. Freddie Freeman and Alonso, they round out the top 3. There's another Dodger, Mookie Betts, another Brave, Riley. Of course, my eyes settle on Jairo Estrada, a Giant there, the number 3 at second base. Coming back, he did play yesterday, so getting hit on the hand, thank goodness. Didn't sideline him. There's another Met with Lindor. Will Smith, another Dodger. If you haven't watched me before, I'm a Giants fan, so it's hard for me to. Yesterday, Brandon picked out Nola, and we did okay against them. We just didn't have the pitching that we would have liked to have had. They ended up pulling away late in that game. There's another Dodger, Will Smith. Looks like the Dodger stack could be shaping up. What do you see on the pitching side besides Snell? I won't let you talk about him because you always play him as a Padre lover, but what do you see over there?
Oh, I see Giolito. He's looking pretty strong, and let's see where he's projected.
They playing there today? They canceled that. Is that dried out in Anaheim, you think?
I would think so. I
You
mean,
see Dodger Stadium? The video of that?
yeah,
I think
the parking lot was completely flooded, which
the
is
Bez
surprising.
Ravine was a river.
Yeah, And it sits up on that hill. I was kind of surprised to see that. As far as I know, the Angels are playing today against against the Reds. But Giolito's, he goes about 6 innings and he'll get you about seven or more strikeouts. So I like that. And Verlander's down in Houston. I'm going to play him in some of my lineups. So
Verlander,
yeah,
he's reinvigorated back with his old team, the second team after the Tigers.
playing the Red Sox today. So that's where I'm gonna go.
Zach Littell kind of sticks out. I'm sure he will be very unowned. He's a former relief pitcher. He started against the Giants. His last time out, he went 5 pretty solid innings. So if you can get 16 and a half, 17 points out of him, we'll see what his price is. I have a feeling, unless DraftKings wised up, he might be rather affordable. You got Wu, who started out great, and then Ashcraft, the Reds pitcher. Ohtani was scheduled to be in the lineup until that game was canceled yesterday. So I had made note if he was out, but he's not, that would make that lineup much easier to navigate. And the outfield, Judge Acuna's almost always there, as he should be. 50 plus steals, 25 to 30 home runs. He and Olsen probably neck and neck for the MVP on the same team. Brandon Nemo, having a great year for about the only Met that's having a great year on that team that Cohen spent boatloads of money on, and it's been disappointing. And then Brian Reynolds, one of the bright spots for the Pirates, along with the lefty that crushes righties, Swinski. A lot of good data there. Go ahead.
Littell is 7,000, and he's showing 55% owned. So there are a lot of people.
55% ownership?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, forget about that one. My secret. We got to stop these podcasts. I bet everybody just rushed over there when I said it. Oh, this isn't live, is it? They must have had a premonition.
Yeah.
55% ownership. No, I'm not going to play them there. I was hoping 5. Oh my God. We see they're taking us off, Brandon, when we're starting to get all this attention.
Yeah.
The populace, the word is out. Here's the starting pitcher preview. I'll let you read this. Can you read this? No, it's so small. But I've got it like blown up this big. He does a great job on the last 1,000 pitches out of the pitcher, what they like to throw, how he grades them. You can see Ty Black, another former Giant, pitching for the Rockies. Very not excited report card, FFD, for Black facing those Rays. So the Rays could be a stack. Well, I guess I should have looked at this first. 55% of the people are going to own Littell, whose slider grades as an F, and his FS, what is the FS? I want to say splitter.
Yeah.
D minus. So he better stick to 42% of his four-seam fastball. Projected to have 6 strikeouts. Rockies lineup, that's probably why, right? They're not the gas house gang of 2023. So could be why the ownership is there. What do you see? Anything sticking out? I know you're looking at the strikeout totals there to the right. What's popping?
I still like Verlander. Go down.
Got nice green. Yeah.
A lot of green there.
Snell, who I said you couldn't choose, he's got great grades, almost 7 strikeouts.
Yeah.
And Giolito, you spotted that as well.
Yeah.
7, little over 7 strikeouts. Carlos Rodon for the Yankees, another team that's disappointed their fans. He's not lit it up like he's capable of. Got great grades across the board, facing the Twins today. Looks like he should have a breakout game. What kind of ownership do you see on him?
Let me go back. Which slate's he going to be in? Who am I looking for again?
Rodon for the Yankees.
Yeah, okay. Probably on the main slate. Ding, ding, ding. 35%,
Medium.
7,800 bucks.
Good price. That's why. Wow, that's about as cheap as you'll see him. Interesting. He may be worth a flyer today. I like his grades. I like the matchup. Twins prone to strike out. Definitely someone I'll take a shot on. Like Snell, if he can stay away from the walks. I always like Gallon. Surprising. But maybe that isn't. Did I have? Oh, I had. That's the Nationals. That's Messiah Gray, and then John Gray. We got Gray Day. A couple of Grays going today. So you got Gray with the Nationals against Rodon. They're a little peskier. I don't think they struck out as much. I was picking the Twins, but I like Gallon down here. He's had a great year. Overall grades are good. Only a C on his knuckle curve. Well, that's not his knuckle curve. What is that? His cutter? FC.
I have to
You
get
gotta
my
tell.
magnifying glass out.
I know it. Looks like it says you gotta get Aaron to make these. Yeah, that's his cutter. His cutter's average, but his four-seam fastball and his knuckle curve are elite. Getting to the weather. Nice little, this was added about a week ago. Nice little guide. It shows the temperatures in the stadiums. If it's blue, it's 55, which this time of the year, you're not going to see that very often. You will later in the year and early. This is a 76 to 82, 83 to 90, and above 90, probably in Atlanta type areas. The wind, 1, 2, and 3 bars for light to medium to heavy. And then humidity and barometric pressure, and then the pink. No pink today. That's a risk of delay or postponement. What do you see there, Brandon?
Oh, I guess the Oriole Park kind of sticks out at the minus 20%. You got the wind blowing straight in. Pretty much the same thing at Comerica and PNC. Although, what else? Milwaukee, the stadium's looking favorable, and same in Chicago for the White Sox. Angel Stadium, we've got perfect weather. The wind's blowing out just a little bit. So I might, and you said Ohtani's in the lineup as a designated hitter. That might be a good play there.
What's
Yeah.
that? 7.5, I'm guessing. What's the total on the Padres Marlins game with Luzardo against Snell? I'm liking that more now that I look at the stadium. Wind blowing in here in San Diego, 13% down in runs projected. Got to be 7.5, 8. Be surprised if it's over 7.5 though.
It is 7.5. Yeah, that's
I
not
had
a
an inkling.
number, is it?
Yeah, that could be one of those late night hammers where you stack up and then you just hope those two go at it. And although the Padres had a few players that were projected to pop, huh? It'd be a little risky, but kind of
Machado
like that.
with Machado.
What?
Go with Machado.
Yeah. We got an announcement here, exciting news from FSL, a partnership with drafters while they last, $699.97. We get a lot of value. $10, $20 entries into the drafters $2 million best ball contest. 300,000 first place prize up for grabs. I think you and I are going to do a little drafting tomorrow, aren't we?
Is it tomorrow we get set up?
I would think that would probably be a good time to try it. We got a couple weeks left, and we have gathered some internal information that we think will just be super valuable, but time will tell. We're going to use our spreadsheets. Leonard, he's our chief technologist, how could I label him? He's a whiz. He's a whiz in season-long fantasy, and he's studied, and we're going to use his input and maybe challenge. We feel real good about our drafts once we're completed. Maybe we'll put a challenge out there to see if anybody, probably wouldn't happen, but if they happen to beat our top lineup, maybe we'll give a little prize or something. We'll think about that. But anyways, you get $10, $20 entries. As a part of that package, you get $100 deposit credit with drafters. So there you can do the math. That's $300 worth of value. You get a lifetime subscription to the Contrarian Edge Optimizer that we're about to show you, that Brandon has been referencing, that he used for football last night and won. And he doesn't even know who he played or what happened in the scoring of the game, but he said he won today. So that's when you know the optimizer is kind of clicking. We literally just lit up football yesterday, but you will get MLB currently, NFL. We have one data feed in there. There will soon be 6. The only one that won't be there is Ballpark Pal. He's baseball only. We will add NBA when the season begins, and Brandon's favorite sport that he wins in without an optimizer. Imagine how dangerous he's going to be once we put that in there. All for one, part of that. So there's 300, 400, 600 of the 699.97. I mean, should we give even more value? Brandon, what else is in that package? Do you know?
You can't give everything away, Joe. Come on. I know you want to, but
should we stop, or are you want to tell them the rest? You just say that's enough, and
you tell them the rest. I feel
this is easy to edit. I can just white it out and forget it's here. They will get. We talked about sports. Got me all choked up. Sportstopia earlier. You will get access to premium content even when we start charging for it for free, and you will get entries into. You'll be able to play in tournaments sponsored by Sportstopia and Fantasy Sports Logic at no cost. That will have some pretty impressive prize pools. Then there's even more. The last part of it is you will participate in a very aggressive loyalty rewards program that allows you to participate in 20% of the profits when and if we ever become profitable. Brandon and I were discussing that earlier. 8 months of what would we call it? Putting monies into into great things like the optimizer. But if Sportstopia becomes a unicorn, Fantasy Sports Logic a unicorn, Drafters maybe a unicorn, a television network that we're excited about that potentially could reach 30 to 40 million homes, as long as you have patronage. What's patronage, Brandon? Do you know? Or
well, patronage is basically participating and using something that you are part of. So the more you use our service and our partner services, you will gain access to certain things like our own contest that we may run, or some merch of some kind. It's just a way of saying thank you to everybody that uses our services and joins up with us.
very good explanation. Yes, it was all created because if you're a fantasy sports player or wagerer, can't wager in California, but some states it's legal, and it's beginning to be legal in more and more places. But you need a place to play. currently DraftKings, FanDuel, Prize Pick, Underdog, Sleeper, and now Drafters. You need a tool if you want to compete at any level with any consistency against the people that have a tool. So thus the Contrarian Edge Optimizer. You need information. I mean, I have on my computer, as you can probably see, no less than probably a dozen windows open, and I'm looking for different information, right? As I'm trying to figure out, ask Brandon what the over under more or less lines are. Who's favored. Sportstopia will have its very own unique ticker. I'm so excited about that ticker. You can go there and see the slate for the day and MLB and NFL and the odds and the
So
line
what,
totals.
I guess I've been looking at this, and it seems like the only thing that you can't do from your Sportstopia account, or whatever we're going to call it, you can't order lunch, right?
We could do a deal with DoorDash.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's all there.
It is going to be very exciting. And so what Brandon was saying, the more you play, the more you engage in the content, subscribe to our premium content, which is free for the VIP members. The more you watch the videos, the more you use the optimizer, the more you refer it to fellow sports enthusiasts, the greater you'll participate in that 20%. So stay tuned to that. We think it's pretty innovative. Nobody else is doing it.
Revolutionary.
What?
Revolutionary.
It is. I would think it's, yeah, it's very much ahead of its time, but the time is coming. So let's and we look at, we are one of the few that have a phone number. People have said, man, you guys have a phone number? Nobody has a phone number on web anymore. We have a phone number and we actually return calls. So excited about that. Let me go to a place that Brandon used last night. We've been talking about it. What is it? It is the Contrarian Edge Optimizer. No NFL because the game was last night. We did show a sneak peek and Brandon used it and he won some money. But this is a time where, what is a disclaimer, Brandon? Even though we're going to show people amazingly extraordinary things.
Everything you see here is for entertainment purposes only. There are no guarantees that you will either win or lose on any bets you happen to place. They don't even call them bets. What do they call them, Daryl? It's just
prop plays, player prop picks.
Prop picks. It's a skill game as opposed to an odds game, I guess.
Game of skill. There's no chance. It's just skill, and we enhance that skill. This is a skill enhancing tool. I wonder if that website's available, skillenhancingtool.com. You think that's too hard to spell?
I don't think we'd get a lot of people typing that in.
Maybe I'll figure out an acronym for that. But anyways, you can tell Brandon and I are a little giddy because we're deep down, we're remorsing because we're going to be removed for the professionals. So we figure we'll milk this, what could be second to the last podcast. You know, we could probably sneak out there, do one, and they won't post it, but be an internal thing we could share with friends maybe down the road.
Yeah, we could add
after this one, no one will want to watch us anyways.
A super secret level to membership. And
I asked Krista if she's ever listened to one of ours. She says, I hear you every single day. Why would I have to tune in and look at the video? So she can.
Oh yeah,
can tell
I haven't even told my wife we're on this.
Well, here's what it does. DraftKings or FanDuel. Any of the slates today, you see turbo, main, another turbo, a couple of turbos. One might be for FanDuel, other for DraftKings, night slate, and then your showdown. I'm going to go to the main, and it brings up our 7 player projection partners. Of course, Ballpark Pal is in there. We are the only one. He provides a feed to with an optimizer. The Baker engine, brand new this year for MLB, was unveiled for NFL last year. We will have it for NFL. That comes from our friends at Sports Data IO. Charles there, they provide us with a legacy feed in the Baker engine. FTN data, that stands for fade the noise, kind of similar to contrarian. You don't want to go where everybody's going, because if that was the way to go, Vegas wouldn't be in business. So they tend to be profitable. But they do 40,000 simulations of a game. My friends at RotoWire with Shannon and Peter, one of the most respected. They're all respected here, but RotoWire's been around a long time. They provide a feed. Dan Williams of Sport Radar talked about Sports Data, and then Stats Perform. They've been around since the 80s. Corey's there since the late 90s, and you can see my man today, Blake Snell. Luzardo down there a little bit. He's projected at 7%. Go ahead, what?
I think you'll probably see these updated a little later. Luzardo, well, look at Kikuchi, only at 1.4%. You know that's going to go up eventually.
Maybe, but Baltimore, you know, that's a buzzsaw there. I mean, if he's that cheap, yeah. I mean, Kikuchi's been pitching well, but we talk about ownership for those of you new viewers because it's very important. You can see Snell, Rodon, because of his price, he's only 7,800. That's about as cheap as he's been since he's come back off the DL. Giolito not bad at 20, but you kind of want to look at those ownerships, and if you want to get different, you want to stay away from the heavily owned. I like Snell, but then 35%. So, right? It's still 65% ahead of the field. Rodriguez on the other side of that matchup for Baltimore. You can see these are the projections from the different providers. You can see Snell has a high projection of a little over 22.5 from Sports Data IO, a low of 14.5. I wouldn't want to pay 10.7 for a guy that's going to get 14 points, but our proprietary blend says 18, and he is the top projected point score of the day. Rodon second, goes in order. You'll see pitchers mostly dominate the top, except for when somebody like Acuna, who is priced almost pitcher price, right? 6,700. And he's only projected to be 41% owned today. So he's a tough choice, right? He could hit a home run, steal a base, and drive in 3 and get to 20 something.
Yeah.
Which he's done a lot. Judge, kind of like him, 23%, right?
Mm-hmm.
Both Judge and Acuna are priced and projected higher than Wainwright of the Cardinals. Wainwright has been, and look at Thor, right? Thor is going to have 0 ownership. We might change that. But I mean, are you going to play him today against the Dodgers?
Tough
Probably
call.
not. Like,
But if you did, you could maybe you could afford Judge and Acuna.
That's right. You could take his -10, he gets you, and subtract it from Acuna's 30 and get a 20.
Yeah.
Now you never know. I mean,
A lot of choices.
Huh?
You have a lot of choices, a lot of flexibility here.
Yeah. What do we want to show today? You want to lock anybody? You want to explain what the stack attack mode that I know you've been using successfully? It's worked out well for me.
Yeah,
Tell us a little bit about what we have here.
Yeah, go ahead and stack 4 players there, and let's see what we
You want 4?
Yeah. Give me a
Okay.
your stack. And then
Notice right here, if you're watching as a viewer, you want to let this go through. It's seeking out stacks. We didn't fade. Could have went into pro settings and when it's done, I'll show you. You can fade any team. There it is. You say, I absolutely positively don't want any whoever.
Oakland A's.
You don't want any A's.
I don't
Pick
want
it
any
on
A's.
those powerful A's with a bankroll. Their bankroll is about Acuna, I think. So we get Brandon says eliminate A's. Anybody else you want to eliminate today?
Nope.
Okay, so in that case, go to save. You will see no Oakland A's, even though they've picked it up a little bit. No Rooker, no J. Blade. I love that name.
Okay, give me an auto
You
stack.
wonder if the parents said, you know, what can we name him that rhymes with Blade? How about JJ? JJ Blade. So no A's. What else do you want me to do? You want me to go into auto? You want to lock anybody?
No, I don't want to lock anybody. I want an auto stack.
Okay, we could have super smashed those Dodgers against Thor, but we're going to let the 8 months of programming auto stack attack.
Turn
Let
on
this let
stack
this do
attack
it. Let this do it.
when
Yeah,
we're
we gotta
ready.
let this do its thing, and then we have stack attack mode is off. That would allow you to get more exposure to more players. We like to turn it on, which I will do as soon as it's done. This big a slate, how many different possibilities, Brandon?
Oh, in the hundreds of thousands, if not crossing over 1 million.
Yeah, when I first started playing, I thought, you know what, if I can play 20 different lineups, I've got everything covered. And now I said, if I could play 150 lineups, I have nowhere anything covered. You think you, right? It's like throwing a dart. You think you'd hit the dartboard with 150 darts, but somehow
Hmm.
Krista has intercepted my.
No, you're good.
Hold on. Are you calling Krista?
Oh,
Hold on.
you'll have to give me control of the screen next time when you take off.
Okay. When you have sharing earbuds and you receive other people's calls, so I was interrupted there. Am I back? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. That
No,
happened
you
to me
can't.
today.
Hold on.
I was
How about
talking to
now?
somebody on the phone and then
There? Say something, Brandon. No, still not. Hold on. Technical difficulty.
bring in the
Be back?
professionals.
There we go.
I never left. You're the one that left.
Okay, stack attack mode is on. Brandon chose 4 players. I'm a 5 stack guy, but Brandon's going for 4 today. He thinks he's got the mojo working. We faded every Oakland A, and we're going to let it do its thing. Hit generate lineup.
Now it's generating a lineup from each one of those separate feeds, and then it's blending them all together.
Yes, it is. Patience is the key.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Voila. Let me move Brandon and I down here. Show you what's happening. You've got 4, 5, 6, 7 player projection partners in their picks of the day, as Brandon said. You can look at the variety. There's Brandon's Verlander. There's my Gallon with Luzardo. I like Luzardo more than I do Snell now with that ownership. A couple of guys projected at about 18 in the stacks. It gives you KC that's been playing a little better. Looks like how many of those do we have? Looks like a 4 KC, right? You got Witt and Taylor, Garcia, and Perez, probably the 4 core Royal players. And then you have McCutcheon and Swinsky from the Pirates and Brennan from the Indians. And somebody I've never heard of before, Chanel. You recognize him? I don't think I've ever seen him. Looks like he's projected to bat leadoff in that game.
Right next door, RotoWire, you've got an Atlanta stack.
Yeah, they fit him in. That's pretty. You got Rodon and Woo. That's first you said Rodon. What was it? 35% owned.
Yeah, at least.
But that's not. I mean, if you can get the Braves in. I mean, look at that. You got Olson, Arshia. I heard him pronounce it, and I was going to try to remember it, and I've already forgot 2 days later in the Giants game. But Arshia, nice shortstop. Arcia, there you go. You got it. Thank you. Acuna, Harris, and Rosario. That looks to be pretty attractive. I kind of like that. What about you?
Yeah, I do like that.
Let's see what happens with RotoWire. We haven't chose them in a while. Come back here, RotoWire. We're going to go and show you can play. And again, we will add for your stacking. Brandon, he likes to use it even in smaller slates, but it's more effective when you run big slates like max 20 or all the way up to max 150. Let me show you a 150 different variations of that RotoWire. Show you how diverse we get, which is what the auto stacking does. It's doing its thing. This is a beautiful thing, Brandon. We waited only 8 months to see this thing run and hum like a finely tuned Ferrari. Remember that one day we sat here for about 45 minutes waiting?
Yeah.
That was only a few weeks ago. And it's up on video if you don't believe us. Brandy can't believe I posted it, but I wanted it to be, probably we could turn it into an NFT and it'll be worth millions. I'm gonna save that. We're gonna do the CSV. I might just play that. There it is. And a DraftKings max 150, Brandon. And tomorrow it might be our last day tomorrow. We can report perhaps me winning first place with that lineup, that your stack of 4 faded the A's. And look at this. What kind of diversity did we get? This is insane.
Yeah.
We got 6, I won't call them Indians, Guardians. 7 Braves, 7 Rangers, 7 Blue Jays, 7 Twins, 7 Dodgers, 7 Diamondbacks, 7 Padres, 6 Yankees, 6 Reds, 7 Mariners, 7 Astros, 7 Brewers, 7 Mets, 6 Pirates, 7 Marlins, and a partridge in a pear tree.
And no A's.
Look at that. No A's, yeah. See how it works? And so what that means, all of you that are still here, probably none of you all exited the video, but if you're still here, that is super diverse. I was on yesterday with Benny Riccardi. If he's watching this video, a shout out to him. He's got some great things going on at a new site with Tommy G, and was on with Nicole, and he says he's got my philosophy, and I think it's yours, Brandon. If I play 150 lineups and the max $3 150 today, with probably has 75, 100, 125,000. So it's either going to pay 7,500, 10,000, or 15 for first. I don't care if 149 of them get me 0. If that one, right?
Yeah.
Gets to the top, right?
Yeah.
So that's the strategy when you pay. Some guys, girls, they play different. We're not advising you to change your strategy, but wouldn't it be exciting to just see, you wake up or you're watching and one of your team, because today the Orioles take off and they score 18 runs, right? And you've got a stack of 4 and a nice blend, or the Braves, right? So that's what this is. You say, well, I see that, but I want to see it, I want to see more specifically what that means, right? Okay. Your little X out here. And man, that was so fast, it's scary. Look at all the Bailey wants in. She said, I want to be a part of this video. It might be that. Come on in, goofball.
Where's Bailey?
There's Verlander and Gray. The other Gray, not Hosea, but John. You got Verlander and Zerpa facing that ace. Facing the 18 that you faded. So maybe because you faded them, they're going to get no hit today. The Zerpa could be, what kind of ownership does Zerpa have? Do you see that on yours?
I can find it.
Tanner Houck of Boston with Verlander. See Verlander in here quite a bit. Rodon. Zerpa could be a reliever if he's not a starter. Sometimes this picks out when you don't lock anybody. Like the Giants. There's Rodon and Woo with you got some Braves. That's a good looking lineup. Braves and Reds. Encarnacion from the Reds.
Zerpa's less than 1% right now.
Could be a way to get different. That's what contrarian is. We didn't point that out. Contrarian edge optimizer defaults into trying to get different. You want to get away from what everybody else is doing. That's how strategically you can put yourself in better shape. There's a Dodger. That's probably not a bad stack there. You got Mookie, Muncy, Outman, Taylor. With a Yankee, McKinney, Ty France from the Mariners, Frankie Alvarez, a young, pretty promising catcher for the Mets. I like that one a lot. Rodon and Giolito. Look at that. I'm glad I saved this. You know what? I'm gonna play this tonight. Tomorrow, in celebration of maybe our last podcast without the professionals to polish us up. Are you available? Are you going to be on assignment? I don't have to do the last one all by myself, do I?
Let me check what tomorrow looks like.
If I end this one by the time tomorrow comes around too, that'll give us a better shot, right? This has been one of our longer ones, but hey, we are soaking up the waning moments.
Oh, I am available tomorrow.
Look at this lineup. You got Rodon and Gallen.
My son's flying in from Miami tomorrow.
So you are available or you're not?
I am available. He gets in at 6 o'clock at night.
Look at this. You got Toronto with Bichette, Brandon Belt, who had 2 home runs in his last game against the Reds. They figured a way to stack Acuna in there. Freddie Furman, not to be confused with Freddie Freeman of the Dodgers, catcher for the Royals against that A's team we faded. I like this. I am thinking, I don't know how I'm going to lose. You know the way I'm going to lose? People are going to watch this video and they're going to take screenshots and they're going to play the same team. So I could tie all 10,000 people watching this video today.
So you know what would be a nice addition that we can talk to Leonard about is if you could go through all these 150 lineups and say you wanted the one with Rodon and Gallen and click a box associated with that and then go down and so maybe you want to look at 150 but you don't want to play 150 and you could click off 10 or 20 and then generate a CSV file from that.
Well, I'll send him this video and he'll be able to listen to what your suggestion is. And I'm sure as genius as he is, if it's possible, People do it. There's Giolito and Rodon with
Okay,
some
so
Orioles.
when you send him the video, tell him to go to, minute, go to the second hour of the video at the 22nd minute and
Exactly right. Leonard, watch this 2 hour video and get to the point to where we make a suggestion for you. You can see it, it alerts you when it updates. It updates every 30 minutes. That will be something that you can auto update. I heard that feature is coming, but we get feeds, they're live. So more important, closer to lock. This is the main slate, so it's 4:05. Pacific, 7:05. Rosario and Gallon. With anytime I see an Acuna in there, even though he's going to be 45% owned, I get a little excited knowing he could. Look at that one, Acuna and Judge with Rodon and Gallon stacking against Snell with Miami. That's going to be a really contrarian lineup there, right?
yeah,
Not impossible. All you're missing from that Marlins 4 is Solar, who crushes lefties. So you could, again, you could take that lineup. You could flop out either one, Acuna or Judge. You got two of the higher. Throw Solar in there, get a little deviation. But I really like this, Brandon. I think you may have put us onto something today with that 4 stack. I will send you this video and I have the CSV. I'll figure out what kind of fee, maybe I'll sell it to you. You want me to?
I've got my own account. I can run it.
Oh, that's right. How do people get involved with this then? They're looking and they're saying, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. What's it cost?
Well, it costs, you want to try it out, see it for yourself, it costs you $1.
A whole dollar?
$1. Of course, you could sign up for a monthly subscription at $29.97. You could sign up, what do we have? We have a lifetime for $299.97. And then you can go for the real value package that includes everything, all the premium, there it is, the drafters, the entries into the 20 entries into the best ball that has 300,000 on top. It's just, I mean, if I was doing it, I'd go for the big one because I've been, I wouldn't say addicted, but I've been enjoying everything so far. Water delivery tomorrow. That was my reminder to cancel that. Yeah, you got a lot of choices here. Not quite as many choices as you do with the contrarian edge, but whatever works out best for you, I would suggest you at least give it a try for a week and see how much enjoyment you can have from it.
There's a little sneak peek. This is the first rough version of Sportstopia. Gonna have a little bit of change here, and anyways, we're excited. That'll be up and ready in version 1 for NFL, Brandon.
Nice.
So super excited about that. And
Could you change the logo to the black one?
yeah, to the correct spelling. Good catch on that one. I was looking at it, and I kept looking at it before you said that. I'm thinking something is right. It's a little different, right?
First thing I saw at 6 o'clock this morning when I looked at it.
I know, that's what I was doing. In the UK, where our dev team is for the website, they spell sports a little different than I guess we do over here in the US. So that's an inside joke that you viewers won't get. But yeah, a lot of value. That drafters deal won't be available for much longer. Season starts and a lot of buzz about overlay, meaning that tournament contest, if it doesn't fill, your odds are even better. So hey, take a shot. You get 20 entries, you get $100 credit. You could do 5 more entries or play in their and their prop
Daily
picks or
prop, yeah.
some of their fantasy. I know you took advantage of that. There's a double deposit bonus too. You use the code FSL100. You can right there. I'll double you up on the 100. So lots of good things happening. Thank you, Brandon. I guess we have one more day tomorrow officially before the pros come in, and yeah, we'll have to celebrate it. Maybe have a little Bloody Mary or something in the morning on that show, and treat people to
Yeah.
something special. But tomorrow we're gonna let them know how I did. I saved that. I'm gonna play the 150, whether I throw it into the 50-cent game or whatever. But we're gonna put our proven where our strategy is and see how that works out. So thank you, everybody. I'm gonna do what probably a lot of you wished I would have done many minutes ago. I'm gonna end the video wishing everybody a super spectacular, amazingly awesome, and most importantly, prosperous fantasy. Is today Tuesday? Tuesday.
It is Tuesday.